Hey foodies, are you ready to go on a global taste trip that's so wild, your taste buds might just ask for a passport? I'm diving into the top 10 worst foods in the world. Food so infamous, even seasoned chefs break out in a cold sweat. Ever wondered what eating a century-old egg tastes like, or how stinky a fruit has to be before it's banned on public transportation? Stick around because our pick for the #1 worst food will absolutely shock you. It's the kind of dish that makes even the toughest food critics run for the hills, or at least the restroom. Plus, you won't want to miss the grossest food challenge at the end. Trust me, you'll never look at your dinner plate the same way again. So buckle up, clear your stomach, and let's chow down, or maybe upchuck, together. Alright, let's dive right into the deep end of disgusting. Coming in at number 10, we're heading to Sweden for surströmming. This isn't just any canned fish, this is fermented herring. And when I say fermented, I mean it's been left to rot in a can until the pressure builds up so much. It's practically a ticking stink bomb. The smell is so powerful, so overwhelmingly pungent, that it's often illegal to open a can of this stuff in residential buildings in Sweden. Imagine a smell that's a mix of rotten eggs, vinegar, and pure regret. Locals traditionally eat it on flatbread with potatoes and onions, but for anyone else, just getting the can open without gagging is a major achievement. It's a nasal travel experience you never ever wanted. Next up, at number 9, we're off to Italy for something that tests the very definition of cheese lover. Say hello to Casa Marzu. On the surface, it's a traditional Sardinian sheep milk cheese, pecorino. Sounds nice, right? Well, the cheesemakers introduce the larvae of the cheese fly into it. These little maggots eat the cheese, digest it, and their excretions break down the fats, making the cheese incredibly soft and creamy. Oh, and did I mention the maggots are still alive and wriggling when you eat it? Some people clear them out, but traditionalists say the cheese is only good as long as the maggots are moving. They can even jump up to 6 inches, so you might need to shield your eyes. If your food moves more than you do, maybe it's time for a salad. Swinging over to Asia, our number 8 spot is claimed by China's century egg. Don't worry, it's not actually 100 years old, but after one bite, you might feel like you've aged a century. These are duck, chicken, or quail eggs preserved in a mixture of clay, ash, salt, and quicklime for several weeks to several months. The process turns the egg white into a translucent, dark brown jelly and the yolk into a creamy, dark green or gray substance. And this smell a strong, pungent aroma of ammonia. The texture is gelatinous and the flavor is complex, but for the uninitiated, it's like tasting an existential crisis. It looks like a black gem, but feels like your ancestors might be deeply disappointed in your life choices. For number 7, we're journeying to the icy landscapes of Iceland for a true Viking delicacy, hakarl. What is it? Rotten shark, specifically a Greenland shark, which is poisonous when fresh. To make it edible, the Icelanders bury it in a shallow pit, letting it ferment for 6 to 12 weeks. Then they dig it up, cut it into strips, and hang it to dry for several more months. The result is a chewy, rubbery cube of fish with an overpowering smell of ammonia and a taste that has been described as chewing on an ammonia-soaked gym sock. The late, great Anthony Bourdain called it the single worst, most disgusting, and terrible tasting thing he's ever eaten. Bon appetit, Viking style. Hold on to your stomachs because at number 6, we have balut from the Philippines. This is a common street food, but it comes with a challenge for most foreigners. Balut is a developing duck embryo that's boiled and eaten in the shell. You crack open the top, sip the savory broth, and then eat the rest yolk and the partially developed duckling, tiny bones, beak, and feathers included. The crunch is part of the experience. Locals love it as a protein-rich snack, often seasoned with salt and vinegar. For the rest of us, it's a serious mental hurdle. You get bonus points if you can steer your snack in the eye before taking a bite. Me, I think I'd rather just have some toast. Now for number 5, we're heading to Greenland for something truly bizarre, kiviak. This is a traditional winter food of the Inuit. How's it made? You take a hollowed out seal skin, stuff it with about 500 small seabirds called ox feathers, beaks, and all then you sew it up, seal it with grease, and bury it under a pile of rocks for several months to ferment. When it's ready, you dig it up and eat the birds raw. The decomposed, fermented flesh is apparently a bit like a very mature, strong cheese. Kiviak is usually a celebratory dish for birthdays and weddings. It's definitive proof that humans will eat almost anything if they're bored and cold enough. At number 4, we have a fruit that's so infamous, it's banned on subways and in hotels across Southeast Asia. I'm talking about durian. They call it the king of fruits, but it rules with an iron fist and a formidable smell. People describe the odor as a combination of turpentine, onions, and unwashed socks. But here's the twist. Many who can get past the smell say the taste is heavenly. It's a creamy, custard-like pulp with flavors of almond, caramel, and cheesecake. So the saying goes, smells like hell, tastes like heaven, but if heaven's taste comes wrapped in the scent of a gym bag left in a hot car, I think I'll stick to apples. Get ready for a dish that fights back. At number 3, from South Korea, we have sannaki. This isn't just fresh seafood, it's live seafood. Sannaki is made from a live baby octopus, chopped into small pieces and served immediately, seasoned with sesame oil. The tentacles are still squirming and writhing on the plate from residual nerve activity. The challenge isn't just the idea of eating something that's moving. The suction cups on the tentacles can actually stick to your mouth and throat, posing a real choking hazard. It is a dish where you have to negotiate with your lunch as it tries to make a last-ditch escape. It's the freshest meal you'll ever have, whether you want it to be or not. Creeping into our number 2 spot, we're in Mexico for escamoles. Often called insect caviar, escamoles are the edible larvae and pupae of ants harvested from the roots of the agave plant. They have a consistency that's a bit like cottage cheese and a flavor described as buttery and nutty. It's considered a delicacy and has been consumed in Mexico since the time of the Aztecs. You'll find them fried with butter and spices, served in tacos or omelets. But no matter how buttery they are, it's hard to shake the mental image. Ants at your picnic is one thing, but ants as your picnic? That's a whole other level, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. The number 1 worst, most shocking food in the world is tuna eyeball from Japan. Yes, you heard that right. The literal entire eyeball of a tuna. You can find these softball-sized peepers staring up at you from packages in Japanese supermarkets. They're usually boiled or steamed and seasoned with soy sauce or ginger. To eat it, you just dig in. The texture is the real killer here. The outer muscles are chewy, but the inside is a ball of fatty liquid. It's been described as a rubber ball filled with jelly. Imagine a bouncy ball meets a seafood surprise. It's a dish that literally watches you while you eat it. If you've ever wondered what food with personality really means, this takes the cake. Or, well, the eye, and there you have it, the top 10 worst foods in the world. Did any make your stomach turn or secretly make you curious to try one? Drop a comment below. Which food would you never, ever touch, and which one would you actually dare to taste? If you laughed, winced, or simply survived this list till the end, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Remember, our next episode features the weirdest drinks on the planet, and you do not want to miss it. Share this video with a friend, challenge them to try number 10, and keep watching Food Truth TV where no snack is too shocking, and every bite has a story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.